Uncut Productions. Police accountability. Y'all know who it is. It's your boy, Mr. Uncut, aka Mr. Unapologetic himself. And y'all know the mission of Uncut Line Productions is where we focus on mind, body, soul, spirit, faith, social issue, politics, you name it. And as I always say, we keep it 100 or 1,000. We will not be paused, edited, or muted. Whatever you see, hear, hey, the cards lay how they lay. Not only will the truth be televised, but the truth will be publicized. So those of you that have been watching me by now, y'all know I do something called Eyes on the Community, Who's Watching the Kingdom. And y'all know, as I stated the other day, there's some dirty laundry that's going on in the realms of justice for the people. And so today I have an individual that I'm going to talk to, and I'm going to let this gentleman tell his story, talk about the corruption, talk about the mishandlement, the police force not being accountable for their actions. Let's talk, y'all. I mean, we just come out of the month of February, right? Black History Month, right? And we all celebrated the greats before us. You know, we celebrated the greats before us, and you know, Black Power and Black Joy, right? Well, I'm gonna let this gentleman introduce himself, and we're gonna get right on into this.
What's going on, family? I just want to bring awareness to, my name is Christopher, by the way, Christopher DeWitt. I was at Sunnybrook's Tavern back in 2018 on December 16th. I was in there consuming alcohol beverage. I mean, I just walked in. I ordered a Heineken and a Long Island. Wasn't there but approximately 10 minutes. I was approached by a white male, Caucasian male at that. Also, later on found out he was a Charles County Sheriff. And he threw a basket of food, onion rings at me to be exact. And at that point, that was an assault within itself. So I jumped up out of my seat, stepped to him. He tried to grab me. I grabbed him back. We got to tussling. And come to find out, he had two other colleagues with him, which was later found out in the investigation was his brother as well as his father. They was in there stone cold drunk. They had been in there approximately, I don't know how long. They were sitting in a table in the rear of me when I'm focused, watching the game, enjoying my beverage. And at that point, we got into a physical altercation, which led to me stabbing him and him pulling out his service weapon, which was a .40 caliber pistol at Sunnybrook's Tavern. I don't know if nobody was out there that night, if you were, if you knew somebody, but I caught the spoil end of the stick, meaning they locked me up and labeled me as the aggressor. How am I the aggressor when I have three Europeans coming at me full throttle with a service weapon as a sheriff? I individually stabbed him, ran into the kitchen because I had to get coverage. I didn't know what was going on after that point. When he pulled the gun out on me, you know, I felt like my life could have been taken immediately. But being there was a large crowd in there, there was other people in there as well. They ran the kitchen behind me. They showed no signs of fear. They were just glad that I did what I had to do. The 911 video, as well as we have footage in Sunnybrook's Tavern showing him escalating up to me, walking up to me, tossing a basket of food, which is physically assaulting me, and I retaliated. At that point, his brother took his service weapon off him, which had blood residue on his gun, took it to his car, which he was driving his cruiser. He had large amounts of cash. After the investigation, what appears to be large amounts of marijuana, as well as he was over the legal limit. I think his alcohol level was approximately 9.2. So at that point, I walked over to the Shell gas station in Fort Washington, Maryland, and I was approached by 4 PG County cops. They slammed me to the ground. They identified me from based off somebody in the bar, pointed me out, locked me up. I stayed up in Eastover precinct for about 4 hours, and they later on came back and asked me a series of questions. I told them, listen, if you want to know what happened, go pull the video. So if that video footage wouldn't be present, I would be doing 9 years right now. They offered me a plea for 9 years. I wouldn't take it. I told them to line the box up. They came back a couple of weeks later with another plea from 4 to 6 years. I still didn't take that plea as well. I had two of the best lawyers in PG County, which is Allison Heritage and Chris Stewart. They worked hard for me. They indicted me, and we went to trial. We went to trial a couple weeks later. They says, hey, we're denying trial. We're going to drop all. Robert Ryan Smith, a Charles County police officer, sheriff officer, in the bar, intoxicated, with his service weapon, bringing negativity to a black man, and also endangering other black folks' lives inside the bar. So at this point, I've been through a series of motions. I filed charges on him. I stayed in Upper Marlboro Jail for approximately 30 days, missed Christmas, New Year's with my family, my kids, as well as when I filed charges on him, his higher up sheriff came from Charles County and they squashed the charges under the table. Meaning he never got arraigned, he never got arrested. Everything fell on me. Washington Post labeled me as the aggressor. There was numerous comments, negative comments online saying, hey, he should have killed that turd, or he should have killed that nigger, as he said, when he approached me. Here, nigga, eat the rest of these onion rings and toss them at me. So, being at Sunnybrook Tavern, anytime you're selling alcohol, you should have armed security. You should have security, period, on the premises, because when somebody's drinking in a public gathering, alcohol escalates different things. Depends on your tolerance level. My tolerance level was just calm, cool, and collect. Hadn't been in there for 10 minutes, as I said. Ordered 2 beverages. Never got a chance to pay for them because I was a regular there. Been going there for 5 years or better. And at that point, it just showed me right there that, hey, police officers get away with anything, but we got to suffer the swollen end of the stick. So at this point in time now, I'm filing a lawsuit against Sunnybrook Tavern. I have Brandon Burwell, which is my attorney. They denied us at first, so now we're going at PG County. We're also going at Charles County. Thank God for life after release. Black Lives Matter. And also this brother here that came along and heard my ear. Well, he actually heard my cry, and then he gave me an ear to listen to. So at this point, I just want to stay focused. If you know anybody that was there at the bar that night, please tell them to come forward, state what they know. I have documentation, video, 911 calls, because the initial 911 call was a white male pointing a gun at a black man.
So let me get this straight. So you're saying an officer pulled out his service weapon?
That's right. Exactly.
And this is where the action and everything
took place.
Yes. Because God, that was a lot, y'all.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah.
That he just dropped right there.
This is not made up. It's written proof. It's video proof, audio proof.
Y'all, an officer. Now, mind you, this whole nation, y'all, these past several weeks, we've been seeing the rallies for Leo Boer. We've seen the rallies for Antoine's Law. Maryland General Assembly was just in session last week. We're in a climate, y'all. Y'all see what's happening? Do y'all see what's happening? Y'all see what's going on? Officers, seems like to me that they're not being held accountable for their actions.
Yeah, that's it.
And so you have officers that just abusing their power just because of the fact that they think they can, just because of the fact that they think they have privilege. Y'all, this goes back to what I said earlier this week. I have never seen any profession on the face of this earth not be held accountable for their actions. I mean, basically, pretty much, if you basically want to go get a job, from what I'm seeing, you can perform, you can. So this, let me think. I just thought about this. So the officer, he was from
Charles County.
From Charles County.
Yeah.
And did he have his uniform on?
No.
He didn't have his uniform.
Not at all.
So this brother was under the influence.
He was no brother of ours. He was of a different color. This is European. We don't consider them as our brothers.
Right.
Consider them as our enemies, our oppressors, who's been oppressing us for years. Look at George Floyd, Jacob Blake. You know, not only that, Freddie Gray right up the street. You know, I could have been one of them at this point. What would have happened if he would have literally bust fire on me? I wouldn't be able to talk about it. My kids would have to suffer. My family would have to suffer. And then the people alone that was in that bar that night, somebody else probably would have got hit too.
Because as he pulled his service weapon out, from my understanding of it, he pulled it out in was a crowd.
In the crowd, yeah. In the vicinity of the bar, yes.
In the vicinity of the bar. And how many people would you roughly say?
On a roughly calculation, I'd say there was approximately 80 to about 100 people in there. You got to realize this is the week before Christmas. Sunnybrook Tavern is a known gathering spot. As I said, I've been there regular there for going on 5 years. I've never seen an altercation. Even so, we have footage with him and his brother. They're pacing the floor back and forth because they was totally under the influence. We have receipts. They went through like 5 or 10 Jaeger bombs, probably 6 pitchers of beer, several shots of tequila. So as you being a professional at a sheriff anyway, why are you out in a public area, gathering, drinking, with your weapon on you? Because one thing about life, as they say, you know, alcohol tell you to do one thing, but then too, when you have a weapon, it tells you to do another thing. And he showed us that, you know, blatantly. And we want to call out Troy Berry, too, of Charles County, which is one of his higher-ups, which I'm sure he had something to do with them squashing the charges that I filed against Robert Ryan Smith. He went to the hospital that night. However, you know, he felt like in retaliation he had to do what he had to do. But in retaliation, you brought drama to me. I didn't bring anything to you. You approached me with my back turned. Never even seen him coming up.
So, for those of you who know Mr. Troy Berry, because Mr. Berry has been on several platforms, the reason why he is even in the position that he's even in right now is because of what he campaigned on. He has gone before several religious institutions, spoken before several clergy, spoken before several congregants, spoken before several constituents in the eyes of the public, and said that he was not going to tolerate negligence against anybody in the police force, and that once he is made aware of his employees being out of pocket and not operating accordingly, being unethical, because this is an officer who has his weapon on him, and then not only that, he's not being responsible because it's just so many things right there that's just wrong right there within itself.
And at the end of the day, he's just a dirty cop, because once you're driving your cruiser and you have large amounts of cash as well as what appears to be marijuana, also your brother taking a weapon off a crime scene, that right there just shows within itself that this thing here was just totally like jacked all the way up, you know what I mean? At the point of they knew they was plotting. They knew they had something going on. And he didn't get no charges. You're a sheriff and you're carrying weed. It's not like you just came in the bar and confiscated for somebody. You're drunk. You got these things in the trunk of your car. You got a laptop in your car. All this is an investigation proof. But yet and still, he was never arrested. I was arrested for 30 days. I caught the spoil end of this thing. Could have been dead at that point. But being that I wasn't intoxicated, I had to think. I had to play for keeps. And that's what I did that night.
There you have it, y'all. Failed justice. And we have got to keep the conversation going. Those who are watching this video, I'm asking you, share this video. Y'all, we got to get justice. The one thing that we must understand when you become a victim of brutality, trauma, 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 trauma it cannot be replaced, y'all.
Stick to you like glue for the rest of your life.
And I don't care how much, because y'all already know I keep it 1,000. But y'all, we are having a failed justice system. And I told y'all, just because, I'm throwing this right on out here, just because these individuals that are in power with the internal affairs, just because they're black, don't mean they for you.
Right.
See, it's a lot of people that come in that come in and they campaign on stuff, and they don't live up to what they campaign. But y'all, nobody is exempt from accountability. Nobody. And I don't care how long that these officers think that they can continue to operate the way that they do, and that time will not catch up with it. You will reap what you sow. And if you're sowing bad seeds of discord, of causing hurt and harm, it's going to catch up with you.
Most definitely.
The word says you reap what you sow.
That's it.
So if you're sowing dead seeds, you're going to reap dead seeds. No, I say this on the platform all the time, y'all. No one is exempt from accountability. I don't care if you white, black. I got a shirt line coming out that says accountability has no color.
Alright.
Accountability has no color, y'all. These cops are misusing their power. They're misusing their badge. They're misusing their form. They're hiding behind political leaders. They're racially bigoted. They're bigoted driven. This is what they do. They breed this. And y'all, we gotta stand up and speak truth to power. We gotta stand up and speak truth to power. Nobody is above accountability.
That's right.
No one. No one. No one. For those who are tuning in, I got a couple of people that tuned in. Share this video, y'all. This is not going to be the only time that you're going to hear about this, because on this platform, y'all, this is a community platform. This is a platform for individuals with stories not getting told like this.
Yes, let's air dry their dirty laundry. Just because they walk around a gun and a badge doesn't mean they're always for us. You know what I mean? You know, we got to stand firm for ourselves. It's not black on black, you know, even though black on black crime still happens. But, you know, these are these so-called blue lives matter. I mean, they don't care about black lives. I mean, it's written proof, you know, audio proof. We have all the mitigating factors. We have all the evidence to throw it out there. But the media was so quick to put me out there as the aggressor. What about him? They shielded his brother's name. They shielded his father's name. They shielded his address. But they left my address out there open. He could have came and retaliated against my family, my kids, because I was incarcerated for 30 days in Upper Marlboro jail. I was placed in a $27,000 bond. You know, here it is. When I got out, I had to take the money that I had put away for my kids to pay for their Christmas. I had to use that as bail money. But, you know, I still provided for my family, my kids, and everybody. But this situation right here came to me. It's not like I went nowhere looking for trouble. It came to me, and I had to do what I had to do.
Again, this sign I have right here. Y'all want to know why people? Y'all want to know why people?
Yeah. That right there.
This right here. A broken system. A broken system. I've never seen a system like this so broken in my life. It's almost like, and it's no different than if you hire a contractor, right? And you tell the contractor to paint your wall black, and the contractor paints the wall orange. That's not what you requested.
Going against the grain.
Going against the grain. And believe it or not, we know that there are police that can't even speak out against what's going on in the department in fear of retaliation of being fired. See, we've got a broken system, period. And y'all know how as I have said before, when I've had prior guests, y'all saw the beloved Palm Collective, and we talked about this. We talked about how that we're fighting for this reform. But some of this stuff, I'm going to keep it a bean. We keep trying to fix stuff that need to just fall.
That's it.
And we need to just start over. You get these cops, and I don't want nobody saying nothing right now, because y'all know how this platform is. When the community is out of pocket, I'm calling people out. But when law enforcement is out of pocket, they need to be called out too, because they're not above.
Exactly.
They're police brutality is just as bad as the community brutality.
That's it.
And if we kept it a being, people be saying, "Oh, blacks, they don't respect the police. They don't respect the police force." Well, the police force don't even respect the force that they work for. They don't even live up to the core values of what it means to take that badge. They think because they got the badge, they can just misrepresent and do what it is that they do and not be held accountable for their consequences.
And see, these are those good old boys they bring out of Charles County, Virginia, and places of that, and they come in our hoods, they jump out, stop and frisk, and they target us. They target people of color. They don't do that in their neighborhoods. It's not allowed in their neighborhoods. It's called neighborhood watch in their community, and it's been like that for years. Stand their ground. We can't stand with so much ground, especially when we're being targeted on a daily basis, 24/7. Not only grown men, kids are being targeted. Our black sisters are being targeted. This can't go on. It can't keep going on, because guess what? It don't only happen here. It happens all over the world. And we see it repeatedly, day after day. But somehow or another, they sweep it up under the rug. Never bring it out to the media unless what? We enforce it. We got to march. We got to rally. We got to put our voices out there to be heard like we're trying to be heard now. Mind you, this happened in 2018. Look, I went through a year of motions in court in Upper Marlboro. Stress over leaving my family, my kids, my fiance. This right here is really trauma, as his brother said earlier. It's trauma on thinking about it, day-to-day basis. Lost my physical job, because of this. Hadn't been convicted in the court of law yet. And not to bring awareness of this young white state's attorney out of Upper Marlboro, got his name right off top, but he was doing everything in his power to try to save this dirty cop, this dirty sheriff, Robert Ryan Smith. So at this point, I'm doing everything in my power to make sure it don't happen to another brother, another sister, or nobody, period. I don't care if they was white, blue, or brown. I don't want nobody to go through what I went through. But it's something to happen if we don't stand firm and put it out there and make sure they can be held accountable.
And y'all, when you get this behavior, when law enforcement, I really try to I really try to have trying to figure out a way of saying this. But the deal is that when you have officials that have shown their true colors, you must understand why the behavior is the way that it is when it comes from constituents. Because you're someone in a position that's supposed to be trained, you
Conducting yourself on a professional level. This is non-professional.
you know how can you have your service weapon with you? Now, I'm not telling people don't go out, don't drink or do anything like that, but you got to do it responsibly.
That's it.
You got a service weapon, you getting a little alcohol in your system, and we know that alcohol has different levels for individuals. We know that. We all get to the point where we know how much is too much. You got to know your tolerance.
Yeah.
But in this ethics, for those who will inbox me and comment and all this other stuff, I'm putting this out here. Why is it okay for an officer, right, to carry a service weapon, to go out, get intoxicated to the point where he's a threat to himself and a threat to the public?
That's it.
An officer pulls out a gun in a public arena.
And let's keep in mind too, Sunnybrook's Tavern, as I said, is a public place, so everybody's welcome there. But then too, if you're serving alcohol, you should have some type of security. Normally they do, because as we say again, that word tolerance is a big word right now. We don't know if this is his first time drinking. Obviously, this ain't his first rodeo. But then too, it could have been anybody else. If you don't know your tolerance level, then guess what? You're in here getting money off all these individuals, spending their dime, but you don't have nobody to protect nobody because somebody else don't know how to control their tolerance of drinking. This is the thing. This is an establishment. Sunnybrook's Tavern just didn't open that night. They've been available. But at the end of the day, that was quote unquote Charles County Sheriff, good old white boy. He's cool. He don't go to jail. And he's dead wrong. Because now, not only did he pull out a weapon on me, which is a 40 caliber pistol, but when you point a gun, your intentions is to do what? Shoot, harm. So now, you brought harm to everybody that was in this establishment. But you got away. How did you get away? The higher ups are playing up under the table with Upper Marlboro. They came from Charles County. They sent their investigators out. Nothing ever happened to him. He's still on the force to this day. This is the same guy that pulled out a gun on me in the bar because he was intoxicated. So imagine he might go back and do this again. Hey, it is what it is, people. I'm not here to water nothing down, not here to sugarcoat. I met with this brother. We just want to bring awareness to keep everybody on point. If you're not on point, if you sleep, you better wake up. This thing is Sankers, it's coffee, it's brand. Yeah.
And so for those that tune in, y'all gonna hear more follow up, eyes on the community. Trauma we've been talking about. Y'all have seen multiple shows that I've done about the mental health aspect. Trauma is a contributing factor to that. Trauma is a contributing factor to a person's mental distress. And we have got to make sure that the powers that be held accountable for manifesting behaviors of such. Because this is what makes our communities in fear. This is what causes and what we see with the different behaviors. Y'all gotta understand something. when a person gets trauma, it affects the whole being of the individual. Their thinking, how they function, how they live, the fear.
Day-to-day operations in life. That's it. Even being around other armed security, being around other police, that thought still lingers in your mind. What they might do, or what they're capable of doing, just because they feel who you are.
And so y'all continue to stay plugged in with this platform. You're going to hear more about this. Not only are you going to hear more about this particular situation, but y'all do know, as I stated earlier, the Graham report has been released. And so we're going to have our community partners that's going to come on this platform, and we're going to enlighten the community to let you guys know what this Graham report is all about, what's in it, how it's affecting the constituents of gorgeous Prince George's. Y'all, we gotta talk. We've we justice for who? That's how I'm gonna close out. Justice for who? Because there's a lot of people that's not getting justice.
Especially us.
And so continue to stay plugged in with Uncut Live Productions. You're going to hear more about this. Our eyes are always on the community, y'all. We have got to stand up, stand tall, stand strong, speak truth to power, and stand up for what's right. Remember, in the words of the beloved Dr. King, an injustice to one is an injustice to all of us.
Yeah.
Peace and blessings. You just got plugged in with your boy, Mr. Uncut. Y'all stay tuned for part 2. We're going to follow up and go in more detail about this.